How did this YouTube subscriber make $16,000 on his most recent deal? Stand by. Let's get it. Hello, guys. This is Ty K, the Flip Man. And today we have another California success story. I have my man Paul out in the high desert of California, and he wanted to share after I asked him. He sent me a text the other day, a picture of his payday. And he has an interesting story. He's not a student, but another YouTube subscriber. I like those just as well because the information is useful to turn into checks, which he's going to be happy to share with you. So before you're tired of hearing me, so we're going to get right to it. And how's it going, Paul?
Good, man. How you doing tonight?
All right. Well, what I want to do is what I normally do on these is just try to sort of get a backstory of what you've done and what led you to real estate, and I guess technically running into me and my stuff, and we'll go forward from there. So who are you?
Okay, well, I'm Paul, and actually my story is kind of interesting. I started doing mortgage loans. I was a loan officer for a mortgage company from the early 2000s to about 2009, about 2009, right after when the market crashed. So I was doing pretty good, and then the market crashed. But what happened is I bought an investment home right at the very top. I mean, you couldn't pick, a more top of a higher mountain to buy a house at. And so it was right at the heat of the as high as before the mortgage market went down. So I paid $200,000 for a house that was worth $350,000, and 6 months later it was worth maybe $300,000. And I ended up, I fixed it up, put a bunch of money into it, and wasn't able to sell it. I ended up having to just let it go. That was about 2010 or so. And I was trying to make a bunch of money off it. It didn't work out. So I ended up just letting it go. Like I said, lost it. Right around that time, I knew that there were some other people that were doing some wholesaling. And so I wanted to figure another way of doing it, because obviously what I did didn't work out. It was also a bad idea that I bought it right at the top of the market, when everything was already sky high. But I was kind of new in the business, so I didn't know it was going to go down that fast or crash that bad. So I ended up, after that happened, I ended up getting into wholesaling, trying to do some wholesaling. That was about 2010, 2011, right around there. And I did a couple of deals. No, actually, I think I did several deals, but it was really, really hard. I really didn't have anywhere to turn to. At that time, bandit signs weren't very big, at least not that I knew of. So I did do a couple signs. I did, I guess, my own version of a bandit sign. I did one that was on the side of the road, big one. Tried a couple of things. I ended up getting my last good deal was from a realtor who he ended up double ending the deal. So he was kind of snuck me the deal before anybody else did, and made about, I think it was like 10 grand on that. So it was a pretty good deal, but then it was just real hard. So I ended up having to stop doing that. It wasn't being able to make enough money with it. I guess it was still a tough time with the market too, because almost everybody was upside down.
Oh yeah.
So I ended up started doing some insurance. Been doing that for the last several years, and then recently, I've always had the hunger for for real estate and investing and wholesaling. It just wasn't the right time for me at that time. Too much going on, and like I said, almost everybody I talked to was upside down by at least 100 grand or more.
Wow.
It was just. Well, if you remember the 2008, meltdown, it was massive. So yeah, it was hard.
It was really bad in a lot of markets. They just took a little dip, but in California, parts of I guess South Florida or whatever, You
Right.
all took a hit because the prices of your properties escalate so fast that if there's ever a correction, then it's a serious correction. If you get caught holding the bag, you're really caught holding the bag.
Right. I was holding the bag, and yeah, I mean, it went down like a brick out of an airplane. It was terrible, and it wiped me out. And like I said, I always wanted to get back into it, so I started doing some research at the end of the last year.
Whoa, don't be alarmed. You already know I got to do some house cleaning. DealYouLater.com got some new stuff coming. We can put it together in the next 3 to 4 weeks. It's going to be a game changer if I could put it together. So don't hold me to it, but I'm trying. You know, it's beyond my technical scope, so I'm depending on some others. Take advantage of my 200 plus videos right here on YouTube, where anyone can get in the game. I give it away free. You won't believe that this is your first introduction to me and what I have to offer right here on my actual YouTube channel. Everything you need to know about wholesaling houses. I sprinkle in a little apartments, a little commercial. If you like podcasts, simply go to flipmanpodcast.com for Android and Apple devices. Follow me on Snapchat and Instagram at flipman.net. That's flipman, DOTNET. On Twitter, at the Flipman. If you want a copy of the one-page contract that I've used since 2003 to wholesale houses, it's just a one-page contract. You can get that free from my website, flipman.net. You see it right here. Also, if you want actual courses along with coaching directly from me, you can simply go there to the site also, flipman.net. Can get access to my courses and coaching. As the date of this video, as you see it, I should have my payment plan option for the courses only. Doesn't come with any coaching, but some people just need their information. So I'm making it easy for you to get as far as payments. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you are alerted whenever I go live on YouTube, especially on Thursday nights where you can join my live Flippinars with me and my co-host Adria, where you can ask your questions about real estate investing in general, but wholesaling, because that's how we get down here on how to put deals together without using your actual cash or credit. And also, whenever I upload new videos, you will be alerted also. So again, back to the video.
And then didn't really know where to go. I mean, but actually it was interesting though. I come to find out that now everybody in the world is trying to teach you how to wholesale. 7 years later, I'm like, everybody in the world is talking about it. But everybody's talking about you need to do this and do that. And I saw your videos. I don't remember how. I guess it was just, one of the recommendation ones because I was looking up wholesaling. And I started watching your videos, and immediately I was drawn to them because, they were so simple. And you're not somebody who's trying to sell, pay $5,000 or $20,000 for my course, and we're going to have you spend $10,000 a month in mailing. I heard that. I'm just like, wow. And I'm like, well, this guy, this guy's down to earth. He's talking about, he does deals just by bandit signs. I'm like, I can do that. It's not too expensive. And so I just started watching more of your videos. And I actually reached out and I think I texted you or I called you or both, I think.
Yeah.
And then you gave me the information for where to go get the bandit signs. And so I started off, and that was earlier this year. And I've had a lot of stuff going on still with my insurance business. So it's been real part-time. So I haven't been able to put as much time into it as I wanted to. But I was able to get this deal done recently, which is an incredible story. And we'll get to that in a minute, but there's a lot that happened there. But yeah, so that's pretty much how I got going on this.
Okay. So, fast forward to, I guess, when you, how many signs to lead up to this particular deal? Because you and I had discussed a few things by text. You were just asking me some suggestions on marketing or whatever. You're in sales, so I always respect that when someone is in, I'm assuming 100% commission if you're in insurance. And so,
yep.
what did you do to lead up to this as far as, I know you say you focused on using bandit signs in your market. Do they stay up? Let's just go to, because I know each market is different. How many did you think you put out to generate this particular lead that turned into a deal?
All right. Well, total signs that I put out is actually not a whole lot, and that includes this whole year. About 400 signs, so that's really it. But the first 200, I had some bites, and I had somebody that was really interested in doing it, and it would have been a great deal. But it turns out somebody had already got a hold of them first, because I called her back like maybe a few minutes after, probably like an hour after, because I was busy. And that would have easily been another 15 grand deal right there. But I would have had that one. And possibly another one that I was looking at. So I had a few leads going on. So I ordered 200 signs to begin with, and I knew I was getting calls, so I figured it's only a matter of time before I close something, or before I get something that's going to work. Kind of the business I'm in, it's always about the law of large numbers. So I just assume get more signs. So I ended up ordering 500 more. So I did the first 200, didn't get nothing out of it. Well, I got some leads, but again, I just wasn't able to get anything to actually close. The next batch was 500, and I actually only put up 200 of those. I actually still have 300 left. I know it's terrible. But out of that 500, I put 200, and I got some more decent calls, sitting out a couple contracts. I thought I was going to get one back. It didn't work out. Turns out I ended up getting, I met with this lady, and we're talking a little bit back and forth, and she's telling me that I think she was talking to one of the representatives from We Buy Ugly House. And so I was kind of competing with them. And she called me on the signs, and I ended up kind of going back and forth. We had probably actually talked for maybe at least a good few weeks before she actually let me come over and meet her and actually go over the contract with her. And she said she would go with me as long as I agreed to pay the closing costs. And I felt there was plenty enough spread there. So I was, trying to get her as low as I could, but I figured an extra couple grand, why not?
What were the numbers on it initially, as far as what she was asking, and what did you determine as far as the ARV?
Okay. Well, I heard it before, and I remember hearing you say it also too. And and that's that wonderful question that you asked. If I can close quick and pay you all cash, what's the least you'd accept? And she had said that she would have offered $100,000 from somebody else. And then she had a couple other offers. I think it was 105, and then another one was the 110 with the We Buy Ugly Houses. And so I was trying to get her down to go at least to the 105. And because I think she was just saying the 110, I think she was just trying to get me up an extra $5 grand. Mm-hmm. But there was enough spread because I did some research, and I was actually thinking that it was probably worth somewhere between 180 to 190.
Okay.
And I thought maybe 180, 185, right around there without pushing it too much. And it needed a little bit of work. To it, some paint carpet, a little cleanup. But so we ended up agreeing on the 110, and I had to pay closing costs. But there was a big issue, and I actually thought this deal was going to be dead like 100 times. If you want to hear a little bit about what happened.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
This lady.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, this story, man. I tell you, I thought.
Did she live in the house, or was vacant?
No, here's the thing: is that she moved out she moved out about 9 months before we started talking, like sometime last October or something.
Okay.
So she moved out, but she owned the house for like 20-something years. Her ex-boyfriend lived in the house with her for all that time. He still lived in the house. And she evicted him back in January. She moved out. He stood there. She evicted him back in January. And then somehow or other, the story was still kind of shady. I never really got a straight answer, but he got back in the house.
Wow.
And they're not on good terms, right? And so, but she was supposed to be charging him for storage, and he gave her money. So he was saying it was for rent. She's saying it's for storage. So I called the cops, talked to the cops about it. I went over there and talked to him. He's all, well, he goes, well, I'll leave if you can either evict me, but it's going to take 6 months. I'll do bankruptcy and hold up here, and I won't leave, or you can give me 20 grand. And I was like, what? I was like, would you take two? I was like, would you take 2,000 just to go? And because I knew there was some decent spread there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so he ended up, I talked to the cops and they said that they couldn't enforce the eviction because there was money that was exchanged, and it confused everything. So after going back and forth with him for like, probably, I spoke with him before I ended up signing the contract with her, but it was probably about a good few weeks that I finally got him to agree that she was going to be, if she evicted him, he wasn't going to get anything. So I agreed to give him, I was basically doing a cash for keys. Okay. And I agreed to give him, because I already kind of had an idea of what I was looking for as far as wholesale fee in this. And so I knew I had some playroom. So I told him I'd give him $2,000, and so after a while he decided he would take it because he wanted to go ahead and just get out. But then the next day he calls me back and tells me that he's not leaving unless he gets another $1,000 from her also.
Oh wow!
So this guy, so he's trying to pull more money he's trying to get money from me and money from her. This guy's a character. So I talked to her and convinced her to give him $1,000 also, but it wasn't going to be until escrow closed.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, this guy had a huge amount of, I'm talking like 50 different cars on the lot. He had a whole lot of junk. He was a town rat. He was, so it was mainly just trash. The inside of the place was pretty nice. It actually wasn't bad. And so, we're going back and forth with him almost every day, and I didn't think he was leaving. He didn't want to leave. We had an agreement. We signed an agreement, like a cash for keys deal, and he wouldn't leave. Every single day, I'd go over there and check on the property, and he'd say he's going to be getting out. He's like, I'll be out by this day. And then, like a month later, he finally starts to get stuff out.
You had to go back and forth with him on a day-to-day basis, whatever. So
yeah, he basically said every other day he'd say, no, I'm not leaving. You better evict me. I'm not leaving. You're gonna evict me. Okay. And I'm just like, every other day, I'm like, man, this deal is not going to close. This thing's not going to close. There's no way. I swear, I kept thinking over and over and over again, this thing was just not going to work. And I had a few investors that I knew from before, along with a friend of mine who has been looking at picking up some real estate. So I talked to him about the property. He went and took a look at it, and he liked it. So I already had an agreement with my investor buddy to buy it. So I already had the buyer in line. I was already set to go.
So what price you all agreed upon?
So it was 110 is what I was gonna get, is what basically the price between me and the seller.
Okay.
And then between me and my my investor buddy, the thing is though is that I kind of expected him to do me down on the price a little bit. So I was just going to do it. I was like, you know what? I'll just ask for a $10,000 assignment fee. Then I was like, you know what? There's plenty enough room in here. Why not try for more? I was like, let me ask for a $20,000 assignment fee. So I told him, I was like, man, I got this great property. It's got like 60, 70,000 in equity. Your price is 130.
Okay.
And he goes, all right, cool. He goes, just be straight up with me. He goes, how much you make on this? I was like, all right, I got a $20,000 spread in there. He goes, all right, well, would you do it for 18? I was like, all right, I'll do it for 18. Considering that I was actually going to only ask for like 10, I'm like, why not ask for more?
Yeah.
What can happen? They can, tell me no, or they need a lower price. So we agreed on 128 price, which included 110 to the seller, and 18 to me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, but the ex-boyfriend, he knew that he wasn't going to get his money until you close on it, correct?
Right. So he understood he was not going to get anything. Um, actually gave him $500 to get out of the house, and then
Mm-hmm.
he was going to get the remaining of everything once he got all of his stuff off. Just because
Okay.
he didn't really have anybody to move him, and he had a lot of stuff, and he needed a little bit of help. So I gave him a little bit, it was a few $100. I figured, I'm so close to the deal closing, I don't want it to not close.
So what contract did you use with the seller?
I actually have I don't know, I picked it up online somewhere. It might have even been one of my older ones too, because like I said, I had some of those before. And it was basically just, a real basic contract. I think it had a couple pages on it. Um, and it's kind of like yours. Like I said, it's got a little extra couple of disclosures, but it basically just says, I'm buying it for this, between me and, between the seller and myself and or signees. And then that was it. And then I took it over to escrow, and as far as me and my end buyer, I just had him sign just a one-page assignment form. Gave it to escrow, and they took care of everything else.
Okay. All right. All right. What, okay. So from beginning to end, how long did it actually, from the point, I guess from her initial call till you close the deal, how long do you think it took in dealing with the
It was
ex-boyfriend?
probably approximately like 2.5 months. It was a little bit
Oh,
of time going back and forth. It
oh
was
wow. Yeah.
maybe two. I could look up the exact date, but probably maybe about 2 months.
Okay.
Two, yeah. It was a couple months because we just closed this I think it was last Monday. Um, and about last Monday, and I think I originally talked to her at the sometime in the end of August.
Okay. What,
Yeah,
so how was the closing? Well, how did that go as for the actual closing, uh, date and just sitting down with seller and buyer? How was that set up?
okay. Well, as far as the closing itself, we did it through an escrow company over here. The escrow company just had the buyer or the seller go in there, and she signed her documents. She did have to sign an agreement that she understood the contract was being assigned. But I had my LLC because I opened up an LLC earlier this year, to prepare for this. So, and I told her before too, giving her heads up. I was like, yeah, I might end up assigning it to my business partner's LLC, depending on, for our own tax purposes or whatever. I just told her something like that because it doesn't really matter to her. She was getting the price she wanted, and she was happy with that because her ex-boyfriend was making her life a living hell. And so she signed her part, and my end buyers, because it's actually two guys. They split it in half. So they signed their part, they wired the funds, and we closed it. And we were just trying to get closed by the end of the month because she hadn't made her mortgage payment for last month. So she was pushing to get it closed. So we were able to get it done the day before Halloween.
Okay. So, so did the seller and the buyer actually meet, or they just came in separately?
Separately, right? Yeah, completely different times. They never met.
So the buyer funded the deal so I'm assuming before she even got there.
Yes. Yeah, she didn't even know anything about my end buyers. She just assumed it was because I know I've heard people talk about it before as far as like, disclosing that you're not the actual cash buyer. But I
Right.
mean, I feel, yeah, and I'm like, why don't, they're all my business partners. I mean, they fund the deal, I find the deal, we're all partners. I mean,
It doesn't matter where the money coming from. They don't.
right.
It doesn't. So it makes it better because it's coming from a bank. That's still not your money. You know what I'm saying? That makes it better. Oh my God,
So,
kill me, man.
yeah, she was just happy that she closed it. I'm telling you, man, she was having some health issues, and she was just, I mean, she wanted to list it with a realtor. And I talked to my realtor too, and my realtor said it would have went for 194.
Oh wow, and even
So
in that condition.
yeah, because
Oh,
it
wow.
actually wasn't bad. It had a lot of junk in the yard, but
Yeah,
everything
that's
else.
what I mean. The junk and stuff that was around it. Yeah.
Oh well, no, that would have been a fixed up condition.
All right. So
But yeah,
I guess your final take after paying him was 16,000 in reality. After paying
yes,
him. Okay.
yes,
Good payday. Nice payday. That's one of those those difficult deals, but it was worth it. You know, to wait 2.5 months or so for a payday like that. So I know before we started recording here, you said that you need to figure out how to get those other bandit signs on. I know you're going to order more. So besides that, what's next for you on the trail?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking about maybe doing some direct mail. I know other people do it, but I really like the return on investment for bandit signs. I think I'd kind of rather, I mean, I realistically, I mean, I'll tell you, I spent what, $400 to get this deal.
Yeah.
$400 to make a $16,000 profit.
Yeah. What's the ROI on that?
Oh man, you're the math genius. What is it?
I have no idea. It's a ridiculous number. We'll let the people that's watching this figure that out. Compare that to if you would have bought it, fixed it, and flipped it, and we'll just say you made 40,000 off of it, but the ROI on that may have been 30%, where this is probably 30,000%. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's something it's done.
It's done.
And I got money. And I'm gonna be working on to the next one. I really feel like I actually earlier this year I did a whole bunch of bandit signs in an area that now I don't use my own personal cell phone number. I have a number through a Vumber actually because it's super cheap. I think it's like $9 or $10 a month. So I just used that. And so I did have some harassment from code enforcement a bunch of times this year, but I mean, they took some of my signs down, but I just learned what areas not to put them in because they're only picky in some areys. Some areas they don't care. Sometimes those.
Yeah, that's most markets, man. And the easy thing to do. Are you the only one, or do you only see your signs, or are there other guys out there doing it also?
There are some other guys that are doing it, but I will definitely say that the source that we're using is definitely has the most attractive. It looks like they cost a lot. Like they're nice looking signs.
Yeah.
And the other guys out there that are doing it, there's a little bit here and there. I mean, but when I do it, like I'll take a couple blocks and I'll just blast them all over.
Oh yeah, you're clowning.
Yeah.
Hey, you're clowning, man. Oh my God, yeah.
You know what though? Because I mean, I just like tonight. I'm gonna go do another 50 tonight. As soon as we get off the phone, I have 20 ready. I'm gonna go get another 30 ready in another few minutes because it doesn't take me very long. I mean, I take a drill and drill the holes right through. I do 10 at a time, stick the zip ties in them, and then I'm ready to go out there. And it takes me, 30 seconds to put one up. And so I'm gonna go try to do about 50 tonight because I actually use a call service to take all my calls, and which really helps screen my calls too because I do get a bunch of calls from like renters and of course code enforcement.
Yeah, is there a main freeway that runs through your market?
Yeah, it's called the 15 freeway. It's a really big freeway. It goes from.
You ever do freeway exits off of ramps? You ever do that?
I've done some. Yeah, actually, one of the areas that I kind of blasted them off was like somewhere around that so as soon as they get off the ramp, like they make a right on the main road. And there's quite a bit there. I actually put them a couple on each corner on the stop signs and the signal lights or whatever. And one thing's for sure, my signs get seen.
I see.
Yeah. And then one thing too is I think it's funny when I get calls from code enforcement. They talk about finding me, but realistically, they can't find me. There was funny because my call is recorded when they call. And they called me and told me that they were going to find me. And the guy's looking up the number. He's what's this over in Illinois or something like that? And I mean, because they're looking up some number, so sometimes people get worried. But I mean, code enforcement's not really going to do anything. They just.
I got to break it down again.
Have you ever watched that movie Catch Me If You Can?
Oh yeah,
it's like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They don't call them bandit signs for nothing.
That's what's up, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey man, Paul, I really, really appreciate you, man, sharing your story. Hopefully this is some motivation for others out there to get out there and do it, man. You had a little taste of it a few years back. You know, you even did deals back in the dark days. So it's good you're back in, man. And if you want to share anything before we go, please take an opportunity to do so now.
All right. I think one thing that I kind of already mentioned is that I think a lot of people want to get going in it and they want to make it complicated. Now, I got an LLC, but you don't need that. I think realistically, if somebody really wanted to do a deal, all they really, really need to do, I mean, I would get one of those bumper numbers. It's like $10 a month. So why not have a private, you know, I mean, you should be able to afford at least $10 a month.
What is it called?
It's called Vumber. Vumber. Vumber.
Okay, Vumber. I use Sideline. Okay, I'll check that out also. Vumber. Okay.
All right. Yeah, and it's I mean, it's a way because it records the calls. You can record them as they come in. So if you need that, but what I would recommend is for anybody that wants to do it. I mean, there's a whole lot of different things. Some people think the bandit signs, you know, there's not everybody likes it, but realistically, I mean, they give you the very best ROI. I mean, where else are you going to spend $400 to make 18 or 16 grand profit? And I would just encourage anybody that really wants to do it, just really get a number, do signs, and if it takes you 200, it happened. I know some people it takes them, you know, less, but it took me 400. But still, if it took you 400 to even make 10 grand, and if you just do it part time, a few signs here and there, here and there, here and there, and I mean, because I've been putting in this very little time, but now I'm really going to try to step it up and find somebody that can help me out with them, because I mean, that's just signs. And
well, you know what, if you want to do it that way, I've mentioned before how I do it. I just drive my little guy around. You may not have the time because of your sales job or whatever, but what if you're going to get someone to do it, I would only give them like maybe 25 or so to do it, and I would create a chart with street 1, street 2, so they can actually chart down where they place them, on what intersection or where they place them. So even though I'm not going to probably go look at them all, I'm going to go look at a few of them, you know, so I'll give them 25 and test them out, see how they do. And then if they do it properly, you know, to your satisfaction, you know, or close to it, because you can probably give them some suggestions to improve, you know, but that's how I would do it, because the worst things that I did, man, back in the day when I first started, I think I gave a guy 500 signs. I told him I'd pay him $1 signs. I think that was a lot. And he put them out in like a day. I'm like, man, it wasn't possible, man. You know what I'm saying? I already knew it. My signs ended up in the trash can somewhere. Boy, that was a hard lesson. So when I did pay someone, like I said, I prefer just to drive the guy around. I can point and blow at him. No, don't do that, you know, all of that stuff or whatever. So, but if you want, the alternative would be to create a chart and let them actually chart the streets. You want 2 streets, maybe even 3 on the list. And so they can identify, you know, where they place them. So if you just need to go check or even pull them down if need be for whatever reason. So
yeah, I also thought maybe about having him take a picture of each one and send it to me after he's done. So that way, I mean,
yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, you know,
I think that even if I don't review every one of them, I think that'll help keep them honest.
Yeah. That's using technology. You know, I'm always down with that for sure.
So. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's going to be the best way to kind of scale. I mean, like I said, I like the direct mails and stuff, but everybody in the world is doing direct mail. But I feel there's not as many people doing bandit signs. There's far less.
Yeah. So your market is unique. So, are you in? How many people are in that area? Just out of curiosity, you know the population in the general area. I guess what you would consider your market, a couple hundred people, 100,000, over 1 million, what?
Yeah, probably a couple few 100,000. Probably, I don't know. There's a lot of people. There's quite a bit of homes up here. So it's not really. I mean, there's plenty of business up here. I mean, it's just a matter. I really don't even have to go to anywhere else. If I just put these signs up, I mean, I get calls, and so there's more than enough business.
That's the name of the game, man. You know, people talk about virtual wholesaling. Yeah, do it if you can do it, but start in your backyard. I can reach out my backyard and grab money quicker than I can in New York. In the high desert. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all right. Yeah. So, get some bandit signs. Go throw some bandit signs up and go Go make 16 grand right there in your backyard. Unless you live like in a population of like 200, then other than that,
Yeah, like the
I
town
mean,
I grew up in. You're gonna have to go somewhere for sure.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's a decent area, and I just think that for people that I think the hardest part, because I think the hardest part for me, probably for anybody else too, is just being patient. But one thing that did help though is I would watch your videos and I'd see the other people, along with the other guy that you had on earlier this year that made like the 20 grand.
Oh, you're
And I
talking
was
about
thinking,
Chris? Chris, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
Mhm.
I'm thinking, and he did that like literally in my backyard. And I'm like, I mean, because we're not too far away. And I'm like, I mean, if he did that, I mean, I got to be able to, to do at least that, or I mean, why not? I mean, he's doing that, um, I mean, they just figured why not try it? So that's when I started doing the bandit signs, or tried a little bit earlier. Um,
Hey,
but
they work. They
they,
work.
they do they work, and realistically too. I mean, like I said, I mean they're the best return on investment. I mean, you can't beat it anywhere else.
No question about it, man. No question about it. So again, Paul, man, I really appreciate it, man. And people, I'm sure they'll really love this. And your story is unique, especially that deal. It wasn't an easy deal. As I tell people, this is a very simple process, but it doesn't mean it don't confuse simple with easy.
Right, right.
But
And one last thing too is because the deal I did the last time before I actually stopped doing it years ago, I closed that deal. I think it was like 10 grand, and I closed that one inside of like 3 4 days. And so I got this one. Naturally, I'm like, this should be fast too. But
one of the biggest deals I've ever done, we closed in 8 days. It was a $40,000 deal, 8 days. Guy called me on a Sunday. And I'm sorry, yeah, let me see, because I was in the barbershop. Let me see. Yeah, it was on a Sunday. It was a shop that used to be open on Sundays. And we closed it that next Monday. 40 grand. Got it under contract for 100, wholesaled it for 140.
wow,
So that's
nice. One thing, if I could say something too, just one last thing is that
oh yeah.
something that I almost made a mistake on with this. I mean, it was difficult, but one thing I almost made a mistake on is thinking that I needed to only make like 5 or 7 grand. And I was like, I'm going to try for 10. And then that's when I really started thinking, why not? There's a good amount of spread there. I've got a good deal. Why not try to make more out of it? I mean, I'm putting in a good amount of work. So instead of me only asking for like 5 or 10, I went for 20 because I felt 20 was worth it. Still a good amount of spread. And so I think people need to not be afraid. Like I was almost too. Don't be afraid to ask. Ask for a good assignment fee. You deserve it.
Hey, whenever you pulled one of my first rules of negotiating. You ask for more than what you were willing. When you're selling, you put a price on it higher than what you'll actually take. When you're buying, you offer less than what you'll pay. And in this situation, you ask for 120, and he discounted a little bit. I mean, I'm sorry, you asked for 20,000 as far as a spread. He discounted it a little bit, but you got close to the number that you were asking. He felt great that he got a $2,000 discount, right?
Yep, exactly. And I would have actually, I mean, I hope he never sees this, but I actually would have taken 10 for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it's just like the deal that I was just telling you about the 40. I made the 40 grand on, which that's not normal in my market, but I was just talking about how the speed of it and how large the payday was, and there was this was a straight assignment in the sense that the seller and the buyer sitting there. The buyer was cool with me making that. Seller didn't care. Right there, everybody sitting at the closing table. That's why they don't care. Everybody getting what they want out of the deal. But I was asking 145 for it, but he's a good guy, so he'll laugh at that if he saw it. And so he said, "Well, you take 140 for it, like that." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, man." But anyway, so that's the business, man. It's amazing. It's an amazing opportunity. I don't want people to feel like it is easy as what you explained your deal there. It wasn't easy. You've had your trials and ups and downs. Just life. life presented you from doing it months early or whatever. It is what it is. But you know it's possible. And bandit signs are not the only way, but they're my favorite way by far.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Mine. I don't know. I'd rather. I mean, to me, if I could spend $400 and make that versus, I mean, even if I pay somebody else to do it and it costs a little bit more versus having to spend $1,000 on mail piece and maybe get something out of it or not.
Yeah. The return, man. It's amazing. It is amazing. So again, Paul, man, I really appreciate it, man, and hopefully people will take this and run with it.
Right. Well, man, I thank you and appreciate you doing the videos and especially the recommendation because, like I said, I mean, you recommend the recommendation you did for me earlier this year as far as bandit signs go. I mean, it's helped out, so I really appreciate that. And so thanks for all you do. And I mean, you do a lot of stuff out there that helps a lot of people, and I mean that's it's real awesome. So thank you for putting the videos together and doing what you can to help out everybody else out.
No problem, man. And guys, thank you all for watching this, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.